Some people say that there are no transcendent states. There is actually nowhere to get to, that we're here. What's your understanding of that?
It depends on a person's openness and level of evolution, really, as to whether that statement even makes sense. So if we're caught in the world, caught up with the daily events of changing babies and driving to work and that sort of thing, to say there are no transcendent states from that sort of way of living, where we're actually lost in worldly life, is untrue. Because there are states that transcend that and enable us to experience our lives in the world from a very different perspective. However, having once started to experience transcendence, what we start to understand is that for a while, at least for a lot of people, there's a play between the two. There's a play between being caught in our worldliness, where time and space are holding us. And there's the difference between that and being in a state where all of that, or a lot of that, drops away, and we don't experience separation between ourselves and other people, or separation between the world and ourselves, where all of that doesn't dissolve, but because we've moved to another level, we're actually experiencing the world and what goes with worldly living in a different way. So that it's not that our worldly system has changed, it's that we have changed in relation to our worldly system. So we start to see patterns in the way we're living our lives from that perspective, that it's very hard to actually experience when we're caught up in day-to-day events. And those patterns might be that, for example, crises develop from time to time. And how come they develop? Is that just accidental, or is there something moving events from behind the scenes? And once we move into and develop capacity for transcendence, we actually discover that there are no accidents with any of them. That actually everything that's occurring in our lives is, as I understand it, designed to stimulate us in the world, so that we have worldly experiences that get us to notice what's going on in us, like feelings or thoughts, or it stimulates old memories, or our hang-ups, or our stuff, as some people call it, in order for us to open up to that and acknowledge it and experience it, so that we digest it and release ourselves from that constriction and that contraction. And I understand that as operating all the time, because the transcendent states, or whatever that ultimate state is all the time trying to draw us back into that state of oneness. And in the world, our best response is to respond openly to all those events, because they are prompting us to achieve or to experience, realise, greater oneness. And the more oneness we experience in our day-to-day lives, the more we have an ongoing experience of the state of oneness that's available in transcendence, until eventually there's no separation. And in something that Elizabeth said a while ago, she's always meditating because she's always had that link between transcendence and her worldliness. Not all of us start off in that position, but all of us can. And so when people say, well, there's nothing to do, it's all already there, it's absolutely true, it is already there. However, there are things we can do that promote the awakening in our worldliness, that enables us to experience that as an ongoing state. And once we get to a certain level, maybe there's nothing to do, because there's no doing in those states. But until we become capable of being there and available to it, then there are things we can do that enable us to become capable of doing that.